I love seeing the musicians with their guard down. Like Brett Dennen came in here in flip-flops. And he's a California kid, grew up. You could just see him, sort of sitting on the beach, strumming his guitar with these poems coming to him. And here's a kid, he's young, he cares about the whole world. And he's in our performance lounge. And he goes away from us completely. He's just in his own world.
That's a tough choice. I would have to say my favorite track is Snow Patrol, Chasing Cars, only because Gary Lightbody caught that moment at that time that almost didn't seem real. It's like it transcended wherever you were. It was magical. It was one of the great performances. But quite honestly, all the 18 other tracks are almost as good as Snow Patrol doing Chasing Cars.
My KINK Live 10 moment. My favorite track on KINK Live 10 and favorite moment is Tyrone Wells' What Are We Fighting For? Because I was excited in advance. Tyrone is a fellow Spokane refugee, just like me, and he was sick as a dog when he got here, and even said that he'd caught a bit of food poisoning or the flu or whatever, and still put on one of the best performances we had all year. Still rocked that song like no one would believe, despite being under the weather. So I think that is my favorite moment from KINK Live 10.
So I'll adhere to you first. And we're talking about Live 10 and our favorite tracks on Live 10. Any moments stand out?
Yeah, you must remember this because we were going to talk to Train, and they were supposed to arrive at our studios around 3 o'clock. And we're doing the news and doing our show and keeping going like, God, where the heck is Train? Man, they are so late. Yeah. And we get a call from them that their bus has broken down in Seattle. And I just thought it was so hilarious and so indicative of like, that was the same week they were shown on the Olympics. They were at the height of their sort of glamour. And sure enough, they're still in an old tour bus that still breaks down. And they arrived at 5:30, and they literally did not have time to shower before they were going to go do their sound check over at Crystal. And I remember thinking they're going to be pissed and they're going to be so hard to deal with. They gave the most sensitive rendition of Cap I've ever heard in that room. Yeah. It brought tears to my eyes. It was so beautiful.
I was so impressed.
Yeah,
Total
great.
pros. The day for me was the day The Feeling came and played.
Yeah.
Because I'd read about them and they're very influenced by 70s pop, and that was a very nostalgic time for me as well. But I thought, because I'd heard the album and it's very intricate, the harmonies are deep and layered, and I'm thinking, okay, let's hear how they pull this off in the studio. Very few bands can do that. Crosby, Stills, Nash,
sure.
Maybe one, but you know how it's always kind of different when you hear it live.
Yeah.
And so we're there, and it's acoustic, and I'm thinking, here we go. And these Brits sit down and just nail it. I was so impressed at the intricacies of the harmonies and the way they interplayed. Musically, they were one of my highlights, I think.
Yeah.
And nice guys, too.
It was a fun year. The whole KINK Live 10 just brings back like huge memories.
Well, my favorite book as a kid was definitely Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle. And I will never forget when my kids came into middle school and needed that book, as part on their list. I said, I've got it, and let's go use my original copy, because I thought, wouldn't that be cool, just there was a synchronicity to that. And I had read it several times over the years, even as an adult, because I loved it. The stories of, empowerment and curiosity and strength and maturity and challenge and overcoming adversity and just great fantasy. It was so dog-eared, pages were falling out, so we had to go buy new ones.
The first remembrance I have of my parents reading to me as a child was anything by Jane Austen. They just read one of her books after another, and I was just so mesmerized by all the pictures. Oh wait, that was Dr. Seuss. Sorry. It was Cat in the Hat. That was the first book, and largely because of all the pictures. I have kind of an active imagination. It was the greatest thing to ever happen to me.
I think a teacher in second grade read us Indian in the Cupboard, and we all just became so immersed in that story and read us I think there were 3 or 4 sequels after that too. But Indian in the Cupboard was read to us when I was in elementary school, and that was just a fantastic story and hearing about all that was going on. So I think that's my favorite childhood reading memory.